and welcome back to season 41 Tuesday night Heffron. We are back again. We've already had the first exciting round, and so to just completely digest and break that back, I will be your host for tonight, Alexi Kalis. Unfortunately, our usual man, Mr. Paul Craft, is unable to join us, but filling in for that is, for the last 41 seasons, Mr. John Sunday. Good evening, John.
Hey, Alexi, great to be back. How are you, Vaughan?
And we've got Vaughan McVilly, our resident. He's a sponsor of the sport. He's a commentator. He's just an all-round man, a bundle of energy. Vaughan, good to have you. Welcome aboard for season 41.
Thanks, mate. Absolutely stoked to be back.
So the first week we had blue skies, very little wind, almost even grade numbers across all three grades. It was just the festival of cycling, the greatest time of year. It simply begins, and it began with three gentlemen on the start line who were there from day dot. John, who were those three great men?
Well, I don't know whether it was day dot, Alexi. It was actually October 1985. We had 30 riders on the start line, believe it or not, 10 in A grade, 10 in B grade, and 10 in C grade. And that's how it all started. And it was just amazing that Frank Consacao, he was there on Tuesday night. I was there, hobbling around on one crutch, and Greg Rule was there. And we're the only three riders that were on that original start list. And I was really touched by that shout out. Thanks, Crafty. Just 2 weeks ago, I had a bit of a fall, unfortunately, and it was clear that I wasn't going to make it to the start line on my bike. So the next best thing is to make it to the start line holding my crutch.
Absolutely. You should have just pinned a number on, and then you just DNF.
Yeah, wouldn't that have been good if my wife had seen that?
But we had the beauty of having Greg Rule. I know we've talked about him on previous podcasts, but season 41, he's still on the start line. He raced B grade. He finished B grade. And for the president of East Cycling Club, he certainly sets the standard and the bar that perhaps we're all measured by in the future.
It's just absolutely phenomenal what Rory is still doing. And, as the years tick by, you sort of all just take it for granted. But I can tell you that on Tuesday night, as I stood there and I thought, my God, that was 41 years ago. That was in 1985. Half these juniors in the race on Tuesday night, their parents weren't even born.
And so we went from having the three seniors of the grade to having Tyden Edgerton Black, Charlie Smith, and Ethan Huang. I believe all first-timers on a Tuesday night Heffron.
All first-timers on a Tuesday night. And
on the podium, champion. I mean, Tyden Edgerton Black, he has just done something that many of us will never do. That is finish first at a Heffron Tuesday night. And C grade getting the win in the opening week. I mean, the weight is off their back now. They didn't get a single win last season. They roll up, take the first victory. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
It was an absolute doozy of a night, I reckon, for C grade to get up. Very, very good. That little Titan fella, he came out on a gravel ride with us about 3 weeks ago. He came out on a BMC mountain bike that he put down, gravel handlebars on, and he has got the big long. He's actually got a massive ponytail, and he was ripping around the dirt with us. And me and Rob Dog were going, man, this kid is strong. And then to see him on top of the podium on Tuesday night, absolutely brilliant.
Phenomenal ride, and to turn up to your first Tuesday night Heffron and win your grade is one thing, but to turn up and win the damn thing overall, there's not many people in 41 years that have pulled that one off.
Yeah, that's right. And then we had Charlie Smith, son of Calvin there, who was his first time. I mean, look, this is what, and kind of, I will segue into my next section with this, but Charlie's been coming along and watching for the last couple of years with his father. And this is the first.
Benny Coates when Benny was about 12, 13.
He's been coming along, watching. Dad finally says, all right, you can pin on a number. He goes to gets second. Loses in a sprint.
And finished very strongly. I was very impressed with Charlie's sprint.
And so So that meant we had Randwick Botany 1, 2, 3. So obviously their Saturday racing. If you're looking to kind of go, maybe I want to improve my racecraft and not just to win Heffron. So you build to Tuesday night Heffron. You start with Saturday racing at Randwick Botany because they're obviously there's something in the water there that's doing very well. And at the same time, as a result of the success of Tuesday night and the success they're having there with the juniors, we have a new sponsor on board, John.
We certainly do. Con Harrowlambus, Harrowlambus property. Great to welcome Con. Con loves cycling and been a big time supporter of the Randwick Cycling Club, and just wanted to get involved with Tuesday night racing and spread some love to the junior development side. So there's a couple of new prize envelopes this year for first junior that finishes in B grade, first junior that finishes in C grade. $100 a night over the season. That's 20 races, $2,000. That's very encouraging. So welcome aboard, Con, and also want to welcome back our longtime partner, Sydney City Skoda. And of course, Keisha back on board this year with their $300 worth of vouchers every night. And of course, Detour Cycling Apparel, who have been a long time supporter of the race and the cycling club. So welcome back, everybody. And we're the club has put a lot of hard work into getting the series ready, and I think it showed and paid off on.
Absolutely. I mean, the juniors, it's great to see that Harrowlambus property have come on board for the juniors, because I think in the last couple of seasons we've seen some, we had Harvey on the start line wearing his RKS Amsec kit. I know he's stepped back from Europe, but he started off his racing there. We've got Benny Coates racing in Europe. We had the World Championships racing. We had Lucas Stevenson and from Northern Sydney.
You're saying something so obvious, because we all know that all big-time cycling careers start at Heffron Park. Everyone knows that.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's the biggest race, arguably, in the world when you think about it, as far as producing some of the best sprinters and the best cyclists that's ever lived.
Yeah, and I think UCI Masters down at Lawn, they've missed something by not including a round at Tuesday Heffron to get it, because they've missed out. Because you know how big an event it is. Because on Tuesday night I rolled up, and Vaughan, this must be the number of new kits rolling around. They got launched on Tuesday night. We obviously had the Hydra Play. Here's your chance to do a bit of a plug.
Yeah, mate. So Hydra Play Chia Vita, we rolled out our new kit, and another massive shout out to Greg Rule, because to be honest, I feel completely blessed this year. This is the first year where I haven't had to go out and beat the drum and try and drag sponsors on. Everyone had rung me in the off season and said, "Hey, we like what you guys do. You like to have a lot of fun," and so Ruley gave us helped us out with those bright blue helmets, which is great because I can now work out who's with that bright blue helmets, and so that was a good kit. The Rafa boys have got new kit. There was that blue kit from in the C grade.
Yeah,
Bay. Yep. So those guys. So there were some absolutely cracking new kits, and I'm really looking forward to just it growing. It'd really be good to see a couple of the CPAC boys get back. There was two of them there on Tuesday night. So it was really good.
Although when I was doing the results yesterday morning, I was looking at that blue Gobit kit, and I got to tell you, when you're looking at the video, the body shape of Johnny Bowles, Baz, do you see a mixed standard? I had to look 3 times to work out which one was
which hurts is who. Yeah.
I thought, and also I think is it the Cache boys? Are they in a different kit with that white, or is that like another bizarre kind of spin-off of that? Or Ollie Penny was wearing it. So what's his situation? Who's he riding for or with? Ollie Penny.
Ollie Penny has got his Chop Cycles kit.
Chop Cycles kit, right? Okay, that's that one.
And also one of the East Cycling micro teams, FX SRAM.
Yep.
We had 3 or 4 of those guys on the line, which was Phil Lucas. Who else was there?
Well, I think they're
The Rock, Ryan O'Keefe.
Yeah, Ryan O'Keefe.
Of course, Alex Malone, and we'll soon be welcoming back Dave Evans.
That's right. Where is Dave? Ah, that's right. He's at the Gravel World Championships, which we should give a shout out to. He raced very well, but there was a long-time season 41 rider. I won't steal his thunder. I think that belongs to you, John. Who did place at World Champs?
Brad Mills, big shout out to him. He's cycling rider. He and Dave were over in Maastricht for the Gravel World titles, age group titles last weekend. And Millsy pulls off his biggest win in his Tuesday night career last year by winning the trophy race, and now backs it up with a fourth place in the 50 to 55 age group. So well done, Millsy. A lot of hard work and it paid off.
That's right. And that is, he's done a lot of training on the goat track over the years, so he was ready for what those Belgian bike paths could throw at him. So, that's...
If you look at the results of that Gravel World title, there's some very big names.
Very big. The other good quick shout out is the new Rafa team, which Scotty Law's sort of leading. That's like Mick Cupid, Jeff Rickard, Tom Gray, Darcy Ellum, Norton, and Alex Summers and Dan Newman. So they're going to be a team to watch.
And also Big Jeff.
Yeah, that's right. So they're going to be
Tommy Gray. Tommy Gray. Actually,
Tommy Gray.
Tommy Gray. Wow, Tommy Gray. All those mornings that you come flying past me in the park, Tommy, and I watch you go hard at pushing 300 watts, and I think, why are you doing that, Tommy? I now know why you're doing that. Very impressive ride.
Yeah.
And then, speaking of teams and friends, I think then we have to go to a rider in B grade, Leif in Vargsen. I want to know, does that bloke have any friends in the peloton? Because he was absolutely just single filing it every time he got to the front in B grade. And I can imagine there was a few people in the bunch who were like, this fucking guy, he's killing us.
It's quite clear that your watts and oxygen uptake are most very
phenomenal. God, he's quick. He's where is he getting that power from? He's tiny, but he's just...
You've got to harness it.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you a quick little story there. Rob Dog Leif went to the front and just started putting the power down. Whoever was behind him dropped the wheel or couldn't hold the wheel. So Robbie came from about 3 riders back, and I watched Robbie go up, and I thought, this will be interesting. And I thought, are they going to try and ride away together? But Robbie just went up alongside. There was a brief little chat. They sort of just slowed me down and bring it back. And then after the race, I said, hey, what was that all about? And he goes, I was just trying to coax him to say, just when you get to the front, just slowly edge the power on, because you're totally destroying us every time you go to the front.
Yeah, he did very well, Leif. I mean, yeah, he's just, he's got some power.
Yeah. And like you actually get a prize because you were the first junior rider that wasn't in the top 3. So well done.
And so just break that down for us, John. What will qualify you? Is that someone like myself? So under 50, under 45 as a junior rider? How does that work?
Well, we've got a couple of new categories this year, Alexi, that you or I or don't. Fit between those categories.
Okay.
Although I was thinking of withholding your prize fee on account that you were just displaying too much enthusiasm.
But to answer the question,
for you next week.
Junior. But what is the cutoff for a junior rider? Is it?
It's I actually maybe it doesn't qualify. Maybe it's over 19.
Okay. So essentially 19 and under. Come along, and you've got a category there as well as we help develop a junior cycling. I tell you what though, for a first week, besides the success and the wonderful of the racing, the high number of finishes across all the grades has got to be super unusual, because you've either normally faced people getting, boom, first week they suddenly think, I'll do a few easy laps in my small chain ring to get used to it, and they're finished, or the wind blows field half, or A grade come through, catch C grade with 4 or 5 to go, and that just... Psh. But just before I get your opinions on it, we had 34 starters in C grade, and we had 31 finishes. B grade suffered because they did get caught, I think, with 5 laps to go by A grade, so only 15 of 28 started. But A grade, 22 of 23 started, and the one...
Will Clark punch it to go.
Fantastic. I mean, basically just says everyone can finish at Heffron. Come in, get your entries in for next week.
If anyone rode home on Tuesday night thinking, "Oh, I could handle that," and trust me, season's got a long way to go. But you're so right, Alexi. It was just a stunning night. And relatively light wind, because normally this time of the year when we start in mid-October on Tuesday night, it's quite cloudy, buffeting winds. It's can be quite cold standing down there on Tuesday night in October, but none of that going on at all. It was a really it was just a out of the box type of evening. And quick shout out also to Rich Scriven, whose photos brought the whole night to life.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic, Rich. You haven't lost your touch. And also Greg McCarthy, who rode his cargo bike in from the Shire, and he took a great bunch of shots as well.
So, yeah, absolutely. So just jump in. I think it's definitely a balmy night. I had to buy 2 bags of ice to keep the beers cold up on the hill. So that shows you just how warm it was.
They were just your ones.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the night was amazing as well because, at the first 3 or 4 laps, we had Big Gussie, Angus Calder and Crafty and myself, commentating for the first 3 or 4 laps. There was a few key things that I noticed and Crafty noticed straight away. But one was C-Grade seemed to have got their shit together quite early. They seemed to be dragging it down the home straight in laps, 1, 2 and 3, which normally takes about 1, 2 or 3 laps for C-Grade to get up and going. B-Grade were immediately a bit slower, and I put that down to not as many Centennial Park boys in the group. You've got the big Nidge. Neil's over running his own cafe over in the UK. They've lost a couple of their really strong workhorses that used to really keep that high pace in those first sort of 3 to 4 to 5 laps.
Have they lost them permanently, or is it just something down in Lawn or something like that, or is it there's been a reshuffling?
I think there's a bit of both. Definitely Neil, I saw he's opened up his own cafe over in the UK, somewhere over there. I saw it the other day. He said he'll still be watching, so g'day, Neil. Yeah, exactly.
Big Benny and Chris Simpson.
Well, exactly. I think Chris Simpson's back on the bike. Benny Gladstonebury, he doesn't need much training, and he'd be back. The Chopper, Big Chops. Obviously, Tommy Hyde was there. D, I know, was quite strong down at Wagga Gears and Beers. Rich White was on the sideline. Those monster calves, he'll come back as well. So I think they'll be back in a little while. They might, as you said. I'm thinking I was thinking we would have been down 10 or 20% on the fact that people were going to go down to do the Fondo Championship. So we might have 180 riders next week, John.
Yeah, it's interesting because it was probably the first time that you've really thought B grade were out of it from very early on. Because early last season, they were lapping as quick as A grade, and every week the A graders were going, "We'll never catch these guys. There's just too many of them, and they're too strong." And look, I mean, the world is not falling down. It's only week 1, but is there anything to take away from that first week performance by B grade?
I just think that you didn't get up to speed quick enough. I was sitting there next to Robin, and she was giving me lap times, and I was like, "Whoa!" Yeah, it was like 7 or 8 seconds a lap slower than A grade, and last year they were within 1 or 2 seconds. You'll remember it was close.
Last year, B grade were flying, and like you said, Vaughan, a lot of that were being driven by the Centennial Park guys. So there's a group of B grade who want to put some sort of mission together. There's a shout out, Lee, to this. Only ever ride as hard as the 10th strongest rider, and then that way, you'll have 10 guys rolling, not one.
And so, Vaughan, you've normally got the stats. What was C grade? Were they rolling very quickly, or where were their kind of lap times?
Yeah, so they were actually absolutely cruising along. I mean, I think it was the first time we saw them. They weren't rolling perfectly down the straight, but Crafty picked it up pretty early that they were actually, feathering across with that crosswind early on in the night, even though the wind wasn't very strong. And so they were losing spot on 10 seconds a lap to A grade. Now, if you remember, quite a few times last year, I was saying on the first lap they lost 34 seconds, on the second lap they lost 24 seconds, and then they started getting there. But I think it was laps 1, 2, and 3, they were losing between 9 and 10 seconds, which is is about right, for A grade to be catching C grade at sort of that 10 seconds a lap time.
There you go. Well, C grade, you now know the formula. You've
Yep.
just got to hope. Now, John, before
So
we go... Oh, yeah.
one little bit about C. So C grade once again went so close to stuffing it up, and I called it because I was on top of the hill.
3 to go.
Yeah, 3 to go. Like the power went out, it stopped. It was absolutely all over Red Rover, and they had a little dark horse in there that may not have should have been in there, who may have rolled to the front and pulled quite a beautiful, fantastic turn. Looked so good on the bike. I won't mention any names. Pulled the turn, and that sort of got things going. And then this orange, bright orange, glistening human just came through, shouted out, "Come on, we need to keep going." Came over the pimple with that sort of 2 laps to go. And Alexi, mate, honestly, hats off, because if it wasn't for you, you guys were getting caught 100%.
Well, yeah, look, I mean, I did but I think it was one of those nights where there were a lot of people in C grade who did amazing work, and that's why I was so happy to see the podium there of Titan, Charlie and Ethan, because they had done a lot of work during it. Other riders who I thought didn't, Matthew Connor was another one I thought was doing well, and there was a couple of new first-timers. And then the mysterious character who you thought gave C grade a bit of assistance. We actually think, and Paul Kraft pointed this out after the race, that as they were getting near the front, Charlie Smith's father has gone, "Pull, son, pull, son." And so this particular rider's gone, "Oh, okay, I've got to do some work." And so they've rolled to the front to do the laps. All it was a miscommunication. So, bang. And I thought, Crafty, you were spot on with that analysis. And with that, we will go to the podium. So obviously on the night, it was a C-grade victory, which had Titan Edgerton Black of Randwick in first place, Charlie Smith in second from Randwick, and Ethan Huang of Randwick in third, responding in his all-black kit. We also had the first female across the line, Lucy Allen in seventh.
Can I jump in on that one? How many Allens started the bike race?
A lot.
So you had all of the three brothers, Robbie, Chris and Steve, and you had James, and you had Lucy. And with 2 laps to go, you had Steve and Chris leading out Lucy. And at one stage, as they went into the straight, when Chris opened up his sprint from about, I reckon, 10th wheel, then Lucy came off the wheel. I was cheering for Lucy. I thought Lucy was actually going to win the bike race, but she faded in the end. I still think she got 7th, right?
Yeah,
overall.
yeah.
Just on first woman, what a great ride by Lucy. Came along, I think, her first race this time last year, but she's just growing in confidence, maturity, proved it with the national title along the way last summer. And so great to have you back, Lucy. And of course, all the Allens.
Yeah. And where did Jimmy finish?
Oh, two spots behind.
So remember, he could barely finish a race last year. And he comes back and he gets a 9th place, a top 10. So well done to the Allens.
Well done. So we had Lucy Allen in first, first woman's, followed by Renee Heinrich making her return to Heffron, and third was Isabella Newell, who got herself to the finishing line, and certainly shows that progression is continuing along. B grade, we move along to first place Reese Nolan, strong ride by Pat Curtin. Yeah, Pat Curtin as well. He's riding pretty strong as well, Pat. I think he shaves down a little. He might find a few more watts. Then third was Reese Williams of Sutherland.
It was a good result by Reese Williams. In fact, both Reeses.
Yeah. Reese Nolan's going well. Hey, he's done well on the mountain bike, and he pulled all night too.
Yeah, he enjoyed coming down last year. And quite a nice moment actually after the race, just on the podium. His father Paul said, "Oh, hi, I'm Paul." And I said, "Hey, Paul, how are you?" He said, "I think you know my brother." And I said, "Oh, who's your brother?" He said, "Scott Nolan." And I said, "What, buddy, Scotty Nolan?" And then I'm looking at Paul, and I'm thinking, "Wow, I can see the resemblance." So Scotty Nolan, he was a legend. Shy. He used to come and race on Tuesday nights, and I can certainly remember having many a battle at the finish with Scotty Nolan. He used to do all the punch rides. So, but once again, that just there's a nice story about Tuesday night, Heffron and the whole family connection. It's absolutely fantastic. I said to Reese after the race, tell your uncle you're way better than he is.
Fantastic.
And then, of course, A grade, the names, they always just read themselves out, basically. Ollie Penny was first. Second, a very lean-looking Jack Bennett. Third, Tom Bolton. So that was their 1, 2, 3. Last year's season winner, Scott Law, was in 8th.
Yeah, he had some mechanical or something.
And also, by then, they'd caught up. It was all messy. They weren't getting there. It was just Ollie Penny.
Yeah. The A grade, B grade catch was very messy. So as they came onto the straight, they were getting caught into the big hairpin, and as they came onto the straight, B grade went across to the right, and already you had the A graders, on the left. So there was a lot of crisscross, and there was quite a big split there. Like in fact, those 4 riders, Ollie Penny. Who else was it? They were looked like there was half a chance for them to get away because there was a bit of a, but would have come back together. And that's when I noticed that Scotty Law was a long way back. So it was another lap and a half, 2 laps of him fighting to try and get to a forward position.
Because A grade had 5 laps to pull themselves together and make that catch. I'm surprised it didn't happen.
I was still impressed with A grade on Tuesday night. Every one of them finished Will because of his puncher. But my God, some of the turns that Will Clark is pulling down the straight, very impressive. Of course, Edwin Brits has best face mask on, pulling turns again as usual. Mentioned Tommy Gray already, big effort. And shout out on the start line and shout out on the podcast, Jay Dutton.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dutto. 10 years since he's raced Tuesday night Heffron. And I tell you what, Jay's name's been popping up in a few results down at Oatley and Southern Cross. He pulled a couple of massive turns down the straight. That was very, very impressive. Also, shout out to Luca Zucchiardi, first race in A grade.
First race in A grade, was shocked not to take home any money.
God, the family economy must be down this way.
He must be thinking this A grade riding's pretty crap. It's costing me money.
Fair suck of the sav. He probably would have had tired legs because he was only in about 38 events at the junior track champs on the weekend.
Right.
So he would have.
17, doesn't matter.
True, exactly.
At that age, he just bounced back. We just missed one result, and that was fourth across the line in the top 5 overall was Charlie Batiste, junior rider. So he picks up an award for first junior, not placed in the top 3 in the C grade. And just to even out the age demographic, good ride by Mick Standard, top 5 overall.
Mick Standard.
Well done, Michael.
He's still hunting that C grade victory, but the problem is he's now got essentially. I mean, I don't think Ethan would be that old either, to be honest. He's probably early mid-20s. So you've got 4 riders there ahead of Michael. He's basically all of their ages combined. So the junior riders amongst C grade, it's looking pretty impressive. Even John O'Colvus, I noticed there, another young rider. Actually, what about the other young rider who finished 31st? Dave Jackson.
Jackson.
Dave Jackson, he remembers when the first time they actually made Heffron like smooth. He's been racing that long.
I think the concrete at Heffron went down during the war.
Yeah.
And
he was probably...
when they built the huts, I think
Jacko was still probably wandering around. He was probably one of the people laying the concrete. But also there were some other great... Look, I'm just kind of looking through, when you look at kind of the various ages we see. Then we've got Mark Rowling. He finished 10th in B grade. Proctor rode well. Big Morgs stepped up from C to B.
Yeah, Morgs. Yep.
Morgs, he's fresh from his Euro holiday. That's why. Morgs was looking good. And also young East rider who does a tremendous amount of work on a Tuesday night, helping prep the track, Luke Cruikshank. I saw Luke really putting in some big efforts there on B grade, so well done, Luke.
And then, controversially, who would be the old? I mean, normally it'd be Dave Evans. I assume would win every time round when it comes to oldest A grade rider, or is Millsy
No, Dave's older.
Dave's older Millsy? And then so on Tuesday night, who would have been the eldest rider in that list? I mean, I almost look at it and go, God, was it Alex Malone? I mean, that's kind of like that is a young A grade actually. Oh,
Reasonably. Yeah, reasonably.
Chris Miller was pulling some massive turns. I don't know how.
Massive. He'd be mid 40s, early 40s.
You're right. Apart from, I'd say Alex Malone.
Yeah, wow. Won't they be happy to hear that they were the old men of cycling? Look, I'm not saying they don't have it anymore. They've still got some amazing legs. But gee, it's that age group. Now that you take out Millsy and Evans, it's like suddenly, boom. Yeah, there we go.
I'm just sad I couldn't get the balance out the age demographic in favour of the over 7.
Exactly. But we spoke about sponsors earlier in the night. And we talked about young riders and riders who've ridden well. But of course, we have one other big sponsor of the Heffron podcast, and that is Char Grill Charlie's. Once again, are on board for the Rider of the Week. And I must admit, I don't even know if they are on board, but I'm simply saying they are.
They certainly are. No, I've spoken to Mark. He's got a bag of chicken vouchers and a bag of chicken wings and a bag of drumsticks. And for one of the first times that I can recall, we haven't even talked about our Rider of the Week. So
wow, you don't think we've talked about our Rider of the Week? Okay.
Oh, we haven't. Normally we sort of discuss
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought we haven't mentioned them. So, look, I was thinking I've got 2, but I'll let you go. As always, I'll kind of give myself the deciding vote. Vaughan, I'll let you go first.
All right. Well, I was going to say, I think Lucy Allen is a very, very big call because I think she rode extremely well. She's extremely strong. And I know we shouldn't really pick the winner, but Titan, your first ever Tuesday night Heffron, I thought that ride was amazing. And it wasn't as if he was like just sitting on and waiting to the finish line. He pulled hard all night. And then to go on and kick on and win, that massive ponytail is going to get a little bit of chicken fat in it, I reckon.
Vaughan, I had exactly the same sentiment. My first information was so impressed with Lucy's ride. 7th across the line, first woman. But yeah, I can't go past Titan either. Titan, unfortunately, I think you might have ridden the last C grade race. You're pretty good. You're certainly better than a C grade, but impressive ride, and the fact that you put in from first lap and won it handsomely. My pick for Rider of the Week.
Look, I think we're in absolute consensus. I think about mid-race, I thought Lucy Allen, she might win. Like she's looking pretty good here. Got into those final laps, I thought she could win. Just died a little bit, but I mean, Titan, king of the Titans, like that man, he did some massive turns throughout. As did young Charlie, as all three, as did Ethan. Like they had fantastic rides, which is. So often in the early first rounds, you'll have guys who'll just be hiding and think, I just thought it was like a normal race. And I'll just sprint for victory. And there's, 10 shattered riders pulling themselves over. You're kidding me. But for him to ride as well as he did, first time on a Tuesday night, I think there is without a doubt, King of the Titans, Titan Edgerton Black, you are our Rider of the Week. Congratulations. And you are going to, I look back at some of the other riders we've given Rider of the Week, and they've gone on to win very, numerous times in numerous races. I mean, you only have to look back at last season, Lucas Zaccardi's performances. I mean, us giving him Rider of the Week is, I assume, is what spurred him on every week.
Titan is that, let's say, you use a drumstick or two as well. So.
Yeah, he could use a jump streak. And look,
I'm very worried about what's going to happen if we pick Jack Bennett for Rider of the Week.
Mate.
Does it eat?
Hey, I think Charcoal Charlie's will be happy because he'll be like, hey, he's just going to walk by and just breathe in some fumes and he'll be full. So, we'll have to ask Grant when he gets back on, what he's doing. But otherwise, we can pretty much, I know entries are open. You can go on to the, with Buncher. Edwin will probably already have his entry in, I assume. John, when did he get his entry in for last season?
Chase Edward last week.
Didn't have to chase him. Wars.
Jeez, wow.
Oh, it's a new season.
Whole new world.
Look ahead to the weather. Tuesday next week, overcast 17 to 27, so no rain predicted.
Fantastic.
And before we wrap up, I just want to thank everybody at East Cycling for all the work everybody put in over the last few months to get this first race underway, and once again welcome Con Haralambus on board, along with Skoda, Vitor and Case, and everybody else who puts in to make the event so special.
Absolutely. And you can get onto the Heffron Park Tuesday Night Racing Facebook page, and you can see the wonderful photos that Richard Scroven has put up. I think there's already a gallery of 147 photos up there. He's just one of the many photographers you see there on a Tuesday night. So you've got to make sure you're looking. It's not just about the racing, it's about looking good on a Tuesday night. You might look as good as my background there. I see Big Alan there in his Hydroplay kit, looking pretty smooth. I should move out of the way there. There's Mr. Presidente. I know the East kit will be being launched in only a few more weeks into this season.
Got to mention that earlier when we were talking about new kits for the season. The club have got, I think a stunning dual-tone kits coming, a white version and a navy version. And so watch out for it. You'll see it soon.
And
One note, I just wanted to add, we're going to slowly try and build the hill up to 3 or 4 years ago when there was a bit of a party up there. What was amazing on Tuesday night is we had, I think, 8 kids on their bikes playing there was a bit of a dirt mound over there, so we had Big Ads McCoy's kids, had a couple of other people up there. We'll have the tent, we'll have some chairs and beanbags, so all the riders out there, tell your partners to come along. We'll host them up on the hill, bit of live music, bit of craziness, and all the kids are welcome, and it's good fun.
Absolutely, yeah, your wonderful job there. It is always good coming over the hill there and having all the spectators. And so with that, get your entry in via Buncher, get on and enjoy the photos by Richard, and until then, we'll see you next Tuesday.